What do you have to do to create bold social change in the world? Sometimes you have to get a little wild.
These are action-oriented women who see an idea, conceptualize it, get other information, and make something happen.
WILD is the Women's Institute on Leadership and Disability, and it's revolutionizing the status of women with disabilities worldwide. It's an enormous challenge. Worldwide, there are 500 million women with disabilities. The majority live in developing countries. Literacy rates for women with disabilities are as low as 1%. Only 25% of women with disabilities are in the global workforce. And women with disabilities are more likely to experience violence, have a higher risk of being infected with HIV and AIDS, and are less likely to receive and access quality health care.
We are going to accept that absolutely, without any doubt, every disabled girl and every disabled woman will be included in every international development program. Do you agree? And I believe that women with disabilities and girls will not only be included in the programs, but they will also be the leaders of the development program.
In 1995, the Beijing UN Women's Conference ignited the international disabled women's movement. Mobility International USA made a commitment to unite women with disabilities from around the world, and WILD was born. For each WILD program, women from around the world come together in Eugene, Oregon for 3 weeks to share their experiences and strategies, build skills, and strengthen networks of support. Hundreds of women apply, emerging leaders who are ready to take their work to the next level. A select few are chosen to attend. To date, more than 200 women have participated in the program from over 80 countries around the world. Women who are blind, women who use wheelchairs, women who are deaf, women with non-apparent disabilities, and many others. They come from rural villages and urban metropolises, representing different religions and ethnicities, and different professions. What unites WILD women is their passion to change the lives of women and girls with disabilities. At WILD, women with disabilities engage in interactive workshops, participate in dynamic team-building activities, and live with homestay families. WILD women are challenging society's preconceived notions about what is possible, and sometimes their own.
My self-esteem, which I thought was, if I want to put in a level of 1 to 10, I thought I was around 5. But here at the program, I see that I was around 2. And before the end of the program, my self-esteem is towards 9. So I have a lot of work to go back and do in my community.
WILD women meet face-to-face with development organizations to lay the groundwork for future collaborations and to understand what development organizations need from them.
I think the key is education. Many of the developmental organizations and NGOs have no experience or idea of how to work with people with disabilities or women with disabilities. So I think having experience and being able to come in and consult, that they will become more informed and then will provide more opportunities in the future for people. People that use wheelchairs, maybe they'll learn that if they're going to be a sponsor, they need to make sure that there's a ramp available, and that throughout the building, they need to look for different physical barriers and take those down so that there can be more access.
WILD plants the seeds for cross-disability organizing, because history has shown that disability rights movements are most effective when they unite people with a wide range of disabilities, working together, leaving no one behind. WILD women understand that it's not enough to talk about change. You have to take action. Through WILD, women learn to create action plans. They go home prepared to use their knowledge and skills to transform the lives of disabled women and girls in their communities.
I had the idea that something had to be accessible, I just couldn't put it in place. I couldn't have the picture of it. But coming to the US is like suddenly you get the picture. This is what I'm looking for. So when we go back to our countries, we can be more specific and we can talk about tangible things.
As the result of just one WILD program, 76% of the participants received new funding or in-kind support, drawing on resources acquired through WILD. 92% of international development staff made changes to include women with disabilities in their organizations, policies, and programs as a result of their participation in WILD. And now, WILD is scaling up with a train-the-trainer approach so that WILD women can bring the WILD experience to the grassroots level throughout the world. From Albania to Zimbabwe, WILD has been replicated in 19 countries, training over 400 women with disabilities. Applying WILD principles of empowerment, inclusion, and pride, WILD women are using the WILD Facilitator's Guide to lead their own WILD trainings. Bringing HIV/AIDS prevention workshops to Ghana, reproductive health workshops to India, and self-defense workshops focused on gender-based violence to El Salvador. Many of these WILD programs have created new national networks for advocacy. A disabled women's network in Mongolia is now contributing their comments on the country's new human rights legislation. And WILD women continue to use the WILD model to conduct more trainings. We know one thing: WILD works. WILD is succeeding in creating a generation of changemakers and revolutionizing the status of women with disabilities. Join us, support the next International WILD program, so that more and more women with disabilities can go WILD.